Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 99 of Two Goalies, One Mic. The great one, Wayno episode. I am joined alongside my co-host, Duane and As always, I'm Johnny Cullen. We have two special guests for you today in our special playoff edition of Two Goalies, One Mic. First, we are joined by recurring guest and friend of the program, Ryan Drury, play-by-play for Guelph Storm, and just an all-around great hockey knowledge guy. Ryan, thanks for being here, bro.
Cheers, guys. Hey, it's always a pleasure.
Always good to have you back.
To have you on, bud.
And also joined by host of the Blue Yorker, former NCAA Division I college hockey player. Spent some time at UMass, and graduated from Mercyhurst. Good to have you on, Johnny Lazarus.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And I do have to correct you because when I was there, it was referred to as NewMass, not ZooMass.
So ZooMass is a new thing. Is that right when they won?
No, ZooMass is done. They killed it. Now it's NewMass.
Okay.
Did you play against Carson Gasevich? He's a Buffalo boy.
I played against him when he was at St. Lawrence my freshman year. Yeah.
Good kid, good family. Fun fact, they're built like brick shit houses. Their dad, Rich Gasevich, won a fucking Rose Bowl, I think, for Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Oh, geez.
Athletics running the fammy. Must
Athletes.
Love to see it.
So to ask you about this, but all right.
What? Oh,
yeah, we're just ignoring whatever's going on up there with Duane.
Yeah. So I was at Texas Roadhouse with a girlfriend before this, and they had this balloon guy there, right? And guys all decked out, kids are wearing hats. I'm like, well, not to be all mushy gushy, but I call her. She's like, everyone's got a pet name for the girl. I call her Penguin. Can you make her a penguin?
Keep that to yourself, man.
Well, listen, fuck off. So they ask her, make her a penguin hat. Guy does an unbelievable job, dude. Like, for balloon animal standards, this penguin was unbelievable. Had like glow up lights in it and shit, and just like, the guy's an artist. And then she's like, well, can you make him a goalie helmet? And this is what came out. So I told her,
not a bad effort. Like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's all right, considering, whatever.
It's balloons. I mean,
she dared me to wear it during the show. I wore it. So now we're done.
I'm reminded of this fucking date, Duane. Jesus.
What? You want to be my date?
No, Duane, you know what? Good for you. You know what? How long will it last, though? Not long.
Listen, man, like me and her have been, hot and cold for like over 10 years,
hot and cold for 10 years.
Like,
what's that about?
We dated when we were 21, we broke up, we got back together like 5 years ago. It wasn't like, we're together, but like we were seeing each other. And then 3 years ago, we started back up again, and we're doing really well.
So you're hot and cold like the Leafs playoff optimism.
I shouldn't say hot and cold, but like, on again, off again. But
I gotcha.
She's an absolute rocket, so I have nothing to complain about.
Congrats.
Wayne.
I'm out hitting my what is it? What is it, Cully? I'm out hitting my coverage.
Out kicking your coverage.
Out kicking my coverage. 100%.
You're punching above your weight class. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm definitely out of my. I wouldn't say I'm not going to say that because she hears that.
Your weight class.
No, I just say.
But we know what you mean. Yeah, you know what you mean. I'm definitely out of in the wrong atmosphere when it comes to her. So
you're Jay Baruchel. She's out of your league.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
There you go.
100%.
All right, getting off of Duane's love life and into the nitty gritty. We have a packed lineup tonight. Love to see it. Love this time of year. We got 4 games going. Right now, tied 1-1 with the Panthers and Capitals. For those of you that are listening, we're recording on Monday night. Both games tied at 1. Johnny, I got to ask you. So you grew up a Long Island boy, played for the Gulls, and
all over.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that Blue Yorker is a Rangers-centric podcast.
Yes,
Fill us in.
It was originally through the Believe Podcast Network. It still is on the Believe Podcast Network, but it was called Believe in Rangers because they have a show for like every single professional sports team. But we've been partnered with this company, Blue York, who makes a lot of like Rangers fan apparel merch. And they're awesome with like video clips. This guy, AJ Casaglia and Alex, his brother, do an incredible job making like Rangers hype videos and all this kind of Rangers content. And they wanted to like brand us as their show. So literally like 3 days ago, we became officially the Blue Yorker, and we're super pumped about it because those guys do awesome stuff.
Man, it's a catchy name. I like it. I'm all about that. You got to find what works for you, and if people are willing to team up with you, you got to do it. Obviously, one quick question. So you're a Rangers fan at heart. You got to spend some time in northern Pennsylvania. And what was your time like in Mercyhurst? Were you surrounded by Pens fans, or was it a good mix?
It's a big mix between like Penguins, Sabres, and then obviously like the Cleveland area too. With like, I mean, obviously there's no hockey team there, but you know, a lot of Browns, Steelers, and Bills fans. I went to a lot of Buffalo Sabres games, especially like when my friends were in town. So that was pretty cool because I got to spend like $15 and sit 5 rows up, which is pretty sweet.
Speaking of guys that grew up around here that you're buddies with, I just looked it up. You played, I coached at Fredonia. You skated with Luke Rivera and Max Blitz. Blitzy's a beauty. I love Riv and his brother, both great people.
That's hilarious.
Dude, small world. I was thinking about that when I looked up your EP. Unreal. For those the people that are listening and don't know, I'm always going to butcher this name. It's not the Maccabiah. It's the Mac. How do you say it?
It's like Maccabea, but we say Maccabee. But that's how I met those guys. And they're like, you know, Luke Rivera is one of my best friends in the world now.
Dude, Luke's a beauty. Next time you talk to him, tell him you were on with Cully and tell him I said hello.
Well, hopefully he's tuning in.
Fucking right, Luke. I miss you, Rev. They still out in California?
Yeah, he's actually having a baby girl anytime soon.
Love to see it. Here's a quick story. I coached these two guys, and I had a diaper party. Rivera and a few of the guys got the whole team to come. Everybody brought diapers for my baby girl. So it's awesome to see it. Happy upcoming Father's Day. That was awful. But no, Riv and Blitzy, great people. You guys did well out there. I remember them coming home and sharing it with us. That's really cool. Tell us really quick. Give us a rundown. What's that like? And before you do, so Ryan, do you remember Dan Ehrlich from London?
Yeah, I remember Earls. Yeah,
he played in this in Maccabiah games, and I remember him telling me we played together at Western, and him telling me about it was awesome. So Johnny, tell the fans listening what that entails and how that whole experience went.
So essentially, it's just like similar to the Olympics, but it's only for Jewish athletes, and the games are held in Israel. So we were playing like literally in the desert in Jerusalem. There was like only 5 hockey teams, though, obviously, because there's only so many countries that have enough Jewish hockey players to form a team. So we played like Canada, Israel, Russia, and Germany. It was pretty cool. The gold medal game was us against Canada. They had a bunch of CHL guys, and we had a bunch of D1, D3 guys. I think like 10,000 people filled the arena, which is really cool.
I remember seeing they reposted it, Johnny. It was packed in there.
Wow.
All the other athletes were in there.
It was really cool. We got smoked. We lost 7-2, but it was a great experience. Other than that, wish the result was different, but
incredible.
Yeah. Honestly, you guys will appreciate this too, since it's your 99th episode. There was a video that played like I want to say like midway through the first period, like Wayne Gretzky, like talking about Maccabee games, like how cool it was to have hockey in the desert. And that was like, that was awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah. Right. Like, that experience alone, just to have like a packed barn like that. And like, that's something that's just like, I'm trying to find the right word for it. Like, it's not common that tournament you guys played in. So that must have been like a really special feeling to be like one of the first. Was it the first time?
No,
it's
a little bit.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time. The Maccabee games before us, like Team Canada had Jake Wallman, who's on St. Louis now, or I think he got traded to Detroit maybe. And Zach Hyman played for Canada as well.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's gregreat.
Yeah.
That's
actually,
awesome.
The tournament I was in, there's like an older men's division also, like 40 and up, and Alexei Zhitnik, I think, who spent time.
Get the fuck out of here.
He spent time in Buffalo?
Yeah.
He spent time in Buffalo, dude.
Yeah, he was playing for, I forgot what country it was, but
Czech or Slovak?
He was either Slovak. He was Russian, but he's actually on the front lines right now fighting for Ukraine.
Yeah, he was playing in the tournament.
He's not Russian. He's a Soviet era.
Soviet, but he speaks Russian. I remember him. He was
one
of the guys. Like Zhitnik was one of the guys when you had a new Russian player, and he would be the translator.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
No, he was there. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, he was
good
just,
little hockey player.
He was sick. He was really good in the Islanders. I remember him when I was a kid playing.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Nasty slap shot.
Yeah, man. He had a nasty shot when he hit the net.
Yes.
That was the thing about him. Couldn't hit the outside of a barn, they used to say about him, or Rick Jenneret used to.
Good gaps, good sticks. You know what? He wasn't flashy offensively. But Ryan, I don't know if you remember this. I know Duane does. And Johnny, this might predate you, but there was the old Shitnik, Schmelik, Groshik. The old Duane, who am I missing out? Maybe that's all. But
Shitnik, Groshik, Schmelik. I don't know, man. I don't know. Where are you going with this?
I don't know. I just remember growing up, there was the fucking Schmicks or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
You're a schmick.
I'm a fucking schmelt is what I am. Yeah. Okay. Before we get into the NHL, Ryan, quick update on how your year ended up, how Guelph finished.
Not great. They got walked pretty hard by the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. I think the result that everybody kind of saw coming, Guelph started the year as the youngest team on paper in the entire OHL, added some overage guys in there who played well for them. But, I think that team is building up to be a real contender in the next 2 years. Next year, they're going to be one of the strongest teams in the Western Conference. This year, they got some valuable playoff experience, but that's kind of where everybody kind of thought that the line would end for them, and it did. 5 games, the Sioux, just big, fast, nasty, mean team. They pushed all their chips into the middle of the table at the trade deadline, getting Jack Thompson out of Sudbury. They're loaded up. They're going for it, and they made pretty easy work of a young Storm team that's just not quite there. 5 games. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Sioux potentially in the OHL final representing the West. They're that strong. So, yeah, overall a fun year, but I think the next 2 seasons in Guelph are shaping up to be pretty special.
Now, who was the overage player in Guelph that did a ton with charity? I think this might have been his last year. He had his own foundation. Was that this year or this past year?
So if you're thinking of Garrett McFadden, he's a former Storm captain, and Ben McFarland just joined his organization. It's a mental health advocacy group called McFadden's Movement, which is really cool. It's great for Ben. He's obviously close with Garrett, and they've gotten to know each other really well. So yeah, it's a nice story for sure. And next year, Ben will go around to a bunch of local schools as one of the representatives of the organization and talk to kids and young hockey players about the importance of mental health. So it's a great initiative and I know Ben's really excited to be a part of it.
I thought that was really cool. I followed along with that, and people don't realize. I didn't realize this as an American. And John, you could probably relate to this as you're coming up. Obviously, you have NHL teams, but being an OHL player in some of these, smaller market towns, you really have an opportunity to make an impact. I was lucky enough to do something called Cully's Kids, where I was able to, get an insurance company to donate, 250,000 books. And I went to different schools and read to them. But it really gives you an eye-opening experience being, bigger than the rink or bigger than just a hockey player. And it was a really awesome thing. And I know Guelph, like you mentioned, with those two, they've done a great job. Johnny, to ask you before we get into the NHL stuff, being an American college hockey player, being able to experience it not only in, the mecca of college hockey in Massachusetts, close to home, but then to come out here, what was it like for you to be, be able to give back? And what did you guys do? Was it as a team, or did you guys do anything individually to, go into schools, whether it was a reading program or, to teach them how to play with hockey? Did you guys do that in the NCAA?
Yeah, actually, I was super fortunate enough to be a part of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. So, luckily enough, my senior year, I got to put on our own fundraiser. Actually, we hosted Ohio State, and we made it like a Make-A-Wish night. So we had one of the local high school kids who was a Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish kid, his name was Connor Amendola. Actually, he came and came in the locker room, dropped the first puck, and we had a whole whiteout. And Mercier didn't really sit a lot of kids or didn't have a lot of seats, so luckily we were able to pack it, which is really cool. I think it fits probably 5,000 to 8,000 people max. Yep. Oh shit. Pittsburgh just scored twice in 10
Yep. Minutes. Bang them up. Backdoor beauty, Jake Gensel.
But
Nope, Crosby.
No, yeah, that was sorry about that interruption, but
No.
We love the live reactions.
Yeah,
we love the live reactions.
Love to see it. Let's go Pittsburgh.
worse. I also posted like right before the game. I'm wearing like a we have Igor You Don't shirt, and it's just backfiring. Oh, what a pass! Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know what's interesting for me, and I want to get your guys' take on it. It's obviously, Malkin's on a contract year. Letang's on a contract year. I worked in Pittsburgh a couple years ago and didn't realize, just how hockey centric they've become. Obviously, winning 2 cups helps. Winning the Crosby lottery helps. What do you guys think is going to happen there? I mean, is this the last hurrah for the old Pittsburgh Penguin core? Who do
I don't think they bring back Letang.
Who would you keep, Letang or Malkin, or neither?
Crosby's never leaving Pittsburgh. Crosby's never leaving Pittsburgh. I think if I had to pick
Crosby, Malkin and Letang are up for new deals.
I'm just stating that Crosby, he's a lifer with Pittsburgh in my opinion. But if I had to pick between the two, I think Letang's the guy, odd man out for me. He had a great year and he's gonna demand a lot of money.
I mean, I think Malkin still is as much as he's maybe not dominant. I think the smart play for Pittsburgh, especially with their back end being so blue and so young, this guy eats 35 minutes a night, and even though he's getting older, like, how do you replace those minutes? I mean, Ryan, do you follow along with Pittsburgh? If you were GM for a day, and you were Berkey and I forget who else is there. What would you do? Yeah, Hextall.
Yeah, it's a tough conundrum because both of them are older and both of them are injury prone. Like, Malkin's got a super dodgy knee. Letang obviously had that stroke scare. He's had shoulder problems.
Yeah, he's had a lot of injury issues.
But he's bounced back. Yeah, like he's had a really nice year. And if you're asking me who I'd probably rather keep and that would be cheapest, it's probably Letang, and he's probably the harder guy to replace. I mean, as good and as legendary as Malkin is, like, it's a joke that he wasn't named one of the top 100 NHL players of all time. When that list came out, that was a joke. There was about 12 guys on that list that I would have put him ahead. But neither here nor there. I just think that as great a player as he has been, I think they would have a tougher time replacing Letang, simply because right shot, really good puck-moving offensive defenseman who's pretty darn good in his own zone too. As much as I cannot stand that guy as a Caps fan, being impartial here, he's a fantastic player. I think he'd be harder to replace in Pittsburgh's pipeline because you look at these forwards that they just find. These guys, like the Penguins, constantly are just farting out 6th-round picks that are useful players. Rust, even Gensel wasn't super highly touted when he was drafted.
Rodriguez comes over from the Sabres and he turns it around.
I don't even think Gensel was drafted. I think he came right out of college, right out of Nebraska, Omaha.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, they just find guys. So Sherry as well. Who's playing for my boys now. Yeah, it's incredible. I think that because of that, they're probably, with a gun to their head, because they're not going to want to do either, they're probably going to try and keep Letang over Malkin, and that's probably what I would do too, based simply on the fact that, hey, they still have Jeff Carter, who is not Malkin, but he's still a pretty good player.
Well, and looks good with his helmet off.
Yeah, he looks real good. Yeah, he's
first
got the
team
flow.
all beauty.
So, I mean, it's a tough decision for a general manager, and they're on the other side of their window, but I guess gun to my head, I would keep Letang because I just feel like he's harder to replace than Malkin.
Real quick, Johnny, I'm watching the replay of that goal. What the fuck is Braun doing there, man?
Which one? I didn't see the second one. I missed the second one.
The backdoor. I'm looking at the replay right now. I'm trying to tell. He's just literally waving his stick, literally doing half circles up and down the ice after the giveaway at the far blue line. Like, what is he doing?
I don't know, but Foxy was caught sleeping there with Gensel sneaking right behind him.
Oh my God! Yeah, that thing was the
Fox. I wanted to ask you, and Ryan, you'd probably have a knowledge of this too. I remember him coming out. He obviously drafted the Calgary. He slipped a bit in the draft because I remember seeing him with NDTP. He was a fucking awesome player. Obviously a little bit undersized, but just a wizard with the puck. Great boots. Awesome gap. He kind of fills that new prototypical defenseman role. You look at Quinn Hughes and Cal McCarr, not the biggest guys, but able to contribute offensively and really drive possession numbers. Johnny, he's a Long Island guy, isn't he?
Yeah, we grew up together. We actually went to the same sleepaway camp.
He's around a 96, 97 too, right?
98. He's a Jewish kid as well. So
really?
Oh, wow. There you go.
He had the Maccabee invite, but he had too many other
Yeah, see you later.
Yeah. He had development camps to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as Adam goes, like I've known him since we're like 10 years old, and he's always been the guy. Like he's not necessarily going to stand out in any game. Like, you don't necessarily notice him right away when he's out there. But if you just break down his clips and his shifts, like he makes every single decision the right way. Like that's always how he's been. He's always been the smartest guy out there and just makes a simple play and makes it look easy. Like my dad always said, watching Adam play in like a college game, he looks exactly the same as he does in men's league. He just like is so poised and just so calm out there.
He hardly ever gets hit because he's just so elusive, right? Like you really look at Pietrangelo was the best defenseman I ever got to play with, and he broke it down simply. He said patience and deception, and now it's taken me a long time to really break that down. But when you look at a guy like Adam Fox, he's patient, he's deceptive, and not just with his shot, but with his first pass. The guy hardly ever gets hit either. Sorry, what'd you say, Johnny?
No, I was saying his head fakes are just out of this world.
And also his full body, his hips, and the way he's able to disguise what his true intentions are. It's been really fun to watch him. And I wanted to before we move it over to Washington series. So McAvoy and him also played together for a little bit, right? Charlie came down to play for the Gulls. Is that right?
Yep. Oh my God. Yeah. Charlie, they've been playing together forever. Adam actually played like a year up. So Charlie was a 97 and Adam played with the 97s growing up.
That's awesome. I just saw that Pittsburgh miss too. I wanted to, before we flip it over to Ryan's, the old Caps, Johnny, you've seen Igor Shesterkin up close and personal. Obviously going to win the Vezina. If he doesn't, that's a crime. Mm-hmm. But the Vezinas for regular season, last game was a bit dicey. I love watching him. I use him for a lot of clips for my goalies. What's it been like to have the Rangers go from Lundqvist, maybe that 1 or 2 years in between, and then finding another looks like, generational stud. I don't know how that stayed out. But Shesterkin, what have you seen from him, Johnny? And then what do you like about what he brings to the table?
Yeah, I mean, we are so spoiled as a fan base to go like you said, right from Henrik into Igor. And but then again, it's like, as spoiled as we are to have such good goalies, it's almost like more heartbreaking because we just feel so bad for them. Like they're just constantly left out.
Buddy, we went from Hasek to Miller, and our bridge between the two for 2 years was Baran, which Baran was really good here.
Hey, friend of the program, Marty Baran, friend of the program.
Yep, friend of the program. He's I think he has the Sabres franchise record for most consecutive wins. Even
we had him for a bit too in New York.
Yep, you had him for.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
hurdle between the legs on him.
But it's just it is heartbreaking, dude, because these guys stand on their heads for you night after night after night. Hasek won 6 Vezina trophies in 7 years with the Sabres.
That's fucked up. That's fucking crazy, man.
Two back-to-back Hart trophies, and only had 1 Cup Finals appearance to show for it, man. Mm-hmm. Like, we get it. We totally get it.
Yeah. No, it's it just sucks because, like you said, like these guys, put their heart on the line pretty much every single night, and they constantly keep the Rangers in games. Like, by no means, like that 2012 team, the Rangers team, gone to the conference final, but they did because Lundqvist took them there. Like that's
even when they lost in the cup, that was highway robbery. I forget who they played in the conference final, but I just felt like, and you can't teach the way Lundqvist plays. And in my years, not only playing but coaching, for him to be as deep as he was, to be so good cross crease passes, his hand-eye reaction and his ability to dissect plays and break them down and read the play, I've never seen anything else like it. Friend of the program, Quentin Musty, just got drafted by Sudbury Wolves first overall, not this past draft, the year before. And he was telling me he played for, what's the good program? It's not the Jersey Rocket, the Jersey Avalanche, right?
Some would say the Rockets are better, but yeah.
Well, no, but they had the U16 team where they had, so Musty played for that U16 junior Rockets team. And he told us stories that Lundqvist, when he was coming back from his, trying to get ready to play for the Caps, ironically, Ryan, he skated with them, and he told me a bunch of awesome stories. We're going to have Q on in a couple weeks, but transferring over to the Washington series and Washington in general, Ryan, how did that ever happen? How did your love for the Caps begin?
I think it all really started with Ole Kolzig. I was just a little kid, and I remember, as most Canadian kids do in small towns, you come home from school, you eat a peanut butter sandwich, and you hit the street and play street hockey until the lights go out. And that's all we ever did. I'm from a really small town in the middle of nowhere, Arthur, Ontario, shout out. And that's all we did, man. We had a designated street, and like everybody in town knew that was the road hockey street, and they would avoid driving down it because they knew we would be out there from 4 p.m. until almost midnight. And I used to like playing goalie when we played road hockey, and my dad got me a helmet with Godzilla on it. Ole Kolzig had Godzilla. That was his nickname, and that kind of got me interested. I started watching the team. Loved Peter Bondra. I loved Steve Konowalchuk. I had his jersey as a little kid. Konowalchuk,
you haven't heard enough fucking
the most random guy ever, eh?
I think that's like the last time I heard that name.
And I loved Yager when I was a little kid too. Like I would always use, funnily enough, the Penguins whenever we played NHL, and I would use Yager. And then he got traded to the Caps, and I was so excited. Didn't work out that great, but as Pittsburgh just scored again, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of how it started for me. And then the teardown happened. That was some sad times, but we got Ovi, and that kind of cemented
Not a bad
it.
consolation prize, Ryan.
Not terrible.
And you know what? We talked about it with Pittsburgh getting Crosby, and not only that, but you go Fleury, Malkin, Crosby, maybe not in that specific order. And seeing here, good patience, double clutch. Trouba unable to clear his guy in front. No, he didn't get a piece. That's a tough one, Johnny.
I'm never coming on here again.
Terrible.
Johnny's done with
Don't
this.
say that, bud.
3 goals in the second period since I've joined this stream.
Yes, but if anybody could come back, I think it was a similar score. Maybe it was 3-1.
Same exact score, yeah. Same exact score.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, when I look at a team that has the offensive, not only just the offensive, but the ability to climb their way back, it's New York. Now, the question becomes, do you do the same thing you did in game 3 game 3 and get who's the other goalie? Not Samsonov. That's a Washington goalie. Georgiev.
I mean, I yank him. I would yank him right now. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? You're down 4-1. Save him for game 5. I mean, just at this point, you're just going to ruin his confidence, I think, right? Like, you got to put it back up.
Speaking of ruining somebody's confidence, Duane, did you see last night where Sheldon Keefe, before he pulled Jack Campbell, and Jack is a friend of the program, a former goalie partner of mine, it seemed like they were, did anybody see that where they were actually talking to each other?
Yep. I saw that. Yeah, I thought they should have pulled him right after the third goal.
Fucking Keith Jones started saying, oh, he's fucking, maybe he's sensitive, and Sheldon Keefe doesn't want to do that. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy. I know Jack's sensitive, but like,
he's an emotional guy, but dude, you just don't fuck around with a goalie. Goalies, I don't know. I thought they should have yanked him after the third. That they were doing him no favors at all. And if that's gonna be the guy you're gonna ride with for the playoffs, get him out of there, man. Like, dude, the Leafs looked horrendous last night. I'll
go back to the Senga goal though. That was a bad rebound off of his stick from down low. You got to block that pass.
100%. Even dude, that shot, I forget who took it. Oh, it was it was a far out top of the face-off dot.
Which shot are you talking about? Are you talking about the one he waved at? That was Ross Colton.
Ross Colton, yeah. Dude, it was just like no screen. It was just him and Ross Colton.
I mean, he's in the slot there. What do you know?
Yeah, he's coming right down the cock.
Dude, you got enough of a piece of it. In my opinion, you probably should have that. Is
that an equipment malfunction? I've had that happen to my gloves before. It literally hit the indentation on where his glove breaks, and you could see his Vaughn glove break down, or the pocket kind of closed down the middle. And then he looked at his glove. I hate when fucking goalies do that. I did it a whole ton. But that's tough. I don't know.
I think 9 out of 10 NHL players should score that goal.
Agreed. But again, he was out far enough. He got a piece. He tracked it well. That was a dagger. Yeah. I go back to the Senga goal. You know what? The first one, whatever. It was a blown coverage. Stamkos popped out for Hedman. And the winger, went down low. And there was kind of a miscommunication there. And by the time they realized that 2 guys went and ended up being a double screen for Jack, For me, it's that second one that comes from low to high behind the net. He gets a piece of it and not enough. He wasn't strong enough on his glove post to get a piece of that. And it's in the back of the net. And then sure enough, a couple minutes later, Patty Maroon scores where Jack makes the initial save. I didn't mean to segue right into the Leafs yet. But you know what? I did not. It's not a, if you do as well as the Leafs didn't they get the most points in history, most wins?
In franchise history, yeah.
Yep. And you get rewarded with back-to-back Stanley Cup winner Tampa Bay. That's fucking tough.
Yeah, it's tough, but I'm out of excuses for that group. I really don't care how tough it is. If you all they've talked about, especially even after last year, which was the most disappointing exit, just all these lessons we've learned, starting on time, our intensity, and again last night it was the same old garbage. And I went on with Duane and Gatesy, and I mean, I don't have much more to say about it. I mean, I went on a hell of a tirade on the Leafs last night, and it basically breaks down to like just enough's enough. And it almost is. I said last night, Duane, you'll remember, it's worse because they're playing the back-to-back champions. You can't start on time against the bar of excellence in the NHL in playoffs last 2 years. You can't find a way to bring your intensity level off puck drop against that team. That's embarrassing. I don't want to hear these excuses anymore about, well, we had some miscommunication here and maybe our details weren't there. Your details weren't there. I'm sorry. Like I'm not here for it. I don't want to hear anymore. I get it done. Like at some point, just get it done. The Caps did it. We had 2 straight years of getting absolutely jabbed in the heart with a spear by Pittsburgh in the second round. And then they figured it out. You know, they figured it out. Yeah, the Rangers got a goal. Good for them. See, we're turning it around. We're turning it around.
Foxy to Kreider, one of them.
We're turning it around. And man, Kreider needed that, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay. Foxy got it. Well, there you go. Kreider's involved.
Panarin needs to get things going.
Yeah, he really does.
What do you mean? He's been fucking awesome. Panarin? He's like 5 points in the series.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he had a hot comeback, but again, he did have points. I think he had 4 points in last game, but they lost.
Yeah.
He was 4 out of 4. I mean, it comes back to kind of what Ryan was just saying. You have to find a way to not only have the individual success, but the individual success that leads to team success and gets the win. At this time of year, they don't ask how, they ask how many. You need 16 wins, right? And I'll tell you what, my mom, I don't know why she likes the Capitals, but she does. and I was happy to see them win it. I love TJ Oshie, big fan of him, as Pierre Maguire would say, from War Road, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see the Caps win. It's been tough to see that decline, though. They haven't won a series since. And me saying that's probably going to be the dagger in Florida's casket. And not to transition too much to that game, I wanted to touch on one thing on that last goal. We talked about, and Johnny touched on it as well, Foxy has an unreal zone entry, is able to get Pittsburgh puck watching along the boards, and is able to feed it through traffic. And as a goalie, you know, that defenseman did everything right, and it goes off his skate. Those goals happen, but what a fucking big goal for New York, man.
Huge. Just throw it on net, man.
Good things happen when you put it on net. So teeing up, before we move on from Washington, Florida, I don't know if it was just me, but anybody notice a little bit of panic in that group? Brunette switching up lines on the fly. I know you got to find some work here in the third period last game, but very uncharacteristic of them, you know, not getting a ton of looks. I don't know if that's some Samsonov playing really well. And I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that series, the way it's going right now? It's still 1-1, right, Ryan?
Yeah, they're still tied at 1 here. And Florida just still can't get their power play sorted out. They've had, I think, 4 opportunities now in this game. Yeah, running the 5 forwards. Maybe they'll throw Ekblad back out there with the top uni. Who knows? Florida just got a penalty finally. But yeah, like they're up 20-9 in shots right now, late second. The Caps have been swimming in this second period, and Florida just can't figure it out. And I mean, Samsonov is obviously putting up another gem right now. That lone goal that he let in, much like the Saturday game, was so soft. But now he's locking it down right now. And like the Caps, I don't know where this penalty killing has come from because they weren't that good at it down the stretch in the regular season, but they're doing a great job. And if they win the special teams battle and you keep letting Ovechkin tee up shots like that one, the Panthers will lose this series. And the thing is the Panthers are what the Caps were for a long time. High flying offense, relying on scoring a ton of goals a game. I think they averaged 4.08 goals a game, a lot.
Didn't get shut out the whole year.
A historic offensive output in Florida, but that's not what the playoffs generally are about. Nope. And guys will lean on you, and those extra hits that don't necessarily happen on a Tuesday in Phoenix, they happen in the playoffs. Guys label every hit. They make you pay a price. And say what you will about the Caps and how they've declined, and they have since Barry Trotz left, which what a fucking story that is. I can't believe the Islanders fired that guy.
That took everybody by surprise, man.
Absolutely outrageous. Some NHL team is absolutely emphatic that Barry Trotz is available. His phone must be ringing off the hook right now. But say what you will about the Caps, they're still a big, mean, aggressive team, and they love playoff hockey. Like, if you want to get into a battle in the corners and get into a war of the wall, good luck against the Caps. A lot of big boys over there that can run you through the glass.
Speaking of that, and I got to grab my charger after this, so Duane will carry the show. Mantha, that trade didn't make a ton. I mean, on paper, it makes sense. I didn't see him contributing as much as he is now. And I don't know if that, and Johnny, maybe you could touch on this going from one organization to the other. I got traded as a goalie, and there wasn't a whole lot outside of learning the different handedness of defensemen and how we like to break out. But to be able to go from one organization to the other, it's probably not easy. But Mantha has been a goddamn fucking brick shithouse wrecking ball. And not just with his physical play, but just being a deterrent, right? Like you saw him and Marchment go at it, and like I saw Marchment with his tail between his legs. I love his game. I love that he's a pest. But Mantha's just fucking a man. Like he's got man strength, and he's really, contributed to that, heavy game that Washington's been able to play on the boards. It's been fun to see. It's just sad that you look at what the Panthers gave up, their next 3 first rounders, including this year through 2024, multiple mid-round picks, Owen Tippett, who's an OHL alumni. Ryan, you remember watching him with Saginaw, right?
Really good player.
Great player in the OHL.
Yeah.
And I hate to come back to it, but when you look at what the Rangers have been able to do, and also the Capitals to some extent, about to retool on the fly. The Rangers, what was it, 2 years ago? They announced this big, rebuild. What was it, Johnny? 2 years ago, they sent out a season ticket holder letter.
2018, yeah, like an email about, guys you've grown to love are going to be, getting shipped out, and they're going to, restructure the franchise.
And you see DJ's Zibanejad. He's been on a fucking tear. Mm-hmm. Obviously signing Panarin was nice, but I just think it's nice to see that trade work out for the Washington Capitals and Mantha playing a big role. Ryan, your thoughts on that and how he's contributed thus far?
Yeah, he's been really good considering that he didn't get to play basically all year because of that knee injury. And he's come back. He had 5 points in his first 6 games back in early March, and has just settled into being a Washington Capital. He's bought into what this group is all about. He's a big, mean son of a bitch. He's 6'5" every day of the week, as Mike Babcock would say.
On that team. Him and Tom Wilson.
He's a big kid, 6'5", 225, skates really well, and he just buys in. All the boys on this team just follow Ovi's example, lay the body. When that guy's on the ice, despite the fact that he's not putting up a ton of points so far in this series, when he's out there, it's hammer time. Like, he is using his size. You can't say that Mantha is a guy that goes out there and doesn't utilize his tools. And for the Rangers, Johnny, I'd love your thoughts on this, paying such close attention to them as you do. The Rangers have a bunch of guys like that too. I mean, Kreider had a historic season. He was a freak this year, banging and crashing in front of the net. I love his game. He's such a monster out there with the way he skates and lays the body. really dynamic back end. You mentioned Zibanejad, Cully, like what a player he's turned into. Another gaffe by the Ottawa Senators, who fired Pierre Maguire today, by the way, after 10 months.
Jesus.
Looks good on him.
2
And
years left in his contract too.
yeah, I wonder what your thoughts are in the way that they have played. And really, as Cully mentioned, after that letter, the turnaround has been quick and prophetic. Yes, Igor is Igor, and he's going to win the Vezina, and the bread man joins up. But, man, they have built a hell of a good core here. We still haven't seen the ceiling at all of Kakko and Lafreniere. I really like Hedl. I think Hedel's really underrated. Like, you got a team there that's got a good mix of veterans and a good mix of young guys that can all skate and lay the body.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And then they just needed like the proper voice, right? Like, David Quinn was here for 3 years and he was great, but I think a lot of people felt that he just, played a lot of the young guys and didn't necessarily have Sorry.
Another goal? Oh,
yeah,
no.
5-2 now. Oh, my God.
That's tough.
We're never getting this guy back on 2 goals.
Oh, yeah. This is
It's just been a complete curse on the old.
You got me at my worst here. Yeah, you got me at my worst here. But back to what I was saying, I guess. Gerard Gallant comes in and just sets the tone and sets a standard that, obviously there was a lot of, talk in the offseason that this team needed to add the word grit, right? Grit was the big focus in the offseason after, the Caps and Tom Wilson, that whole fiasco.
Yeah.
But that's what they did, right? They brought in Reeves, they brought in Goodrow, like all these guys.
They did that, yeah.
Yeah, and then, I think everyone's got to be pretty pleased with how quick this turnaround has been. It could be worse.
Sure.
Could be the Sabres, right?
Sure.
But, I think then again, like next year, it's going to look really different, right? That we made a lot of moves at the deadline, and I don't know if those guys can really stay with the money, but it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
No, I just,
I'm
you mentioned the
right
Sabres.
No, I understand.
We've been in a goddamn disaster here. Not to bring up that, I want to focus on the playoffs. But you mentioned Chris Kreider. I had the opportunity to play with and against him at the 91 birth year select festivals. You always knew he was going to be a special player. Kind of flies under the radar in non-New York towns, but he's been a guy to contribute. And you mentioned Panarin, and you mentioned the 2 young guys. I saw a few people calling for their heads that, where are these 2, top draft picks? Listen, you have to find a way to contribute to your team's success in whatever role you may play. You have guys like the 3 we've mentioned with Zibanejad, Kreider, Panarin. Where is there room for these young players? What line are they on right now, Laz? Are they second, third line guys?
The young guys
together with Schichtel?
Yeah, they're playing together. It's Hedl in between Lafreniere and Kakko.
Okay. Which is like look good.
Yeah, they've been the best line.
They've looked.
My God.
6-2?
No way. Really? I'm surprised, I'll be honest. Like, I know Pitt.
Igor, it's the shirt, Laz.
Yeah, I don't know.
5 goals in the second period. Are you kidding me?
I almost think, I almost wonder immediately
if time out at all. Has he even attempted? I'm sorry. I know this. I know people don't take this seriously, but in a period like this, after that quick 2 goal, those quick 2 goals, as a head coach, you should probably try and calm things down and use your timeout. I'm assuming Igor is out of net, right?
He's still in there right now.
I wonder almost
seconds left. They just scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of the period.
Yeah, that's not good. That's a backbreaker. I do wonder if maybe something's up with him, like an injury or something, even just a small thing, even after that whole Carter debacle where they came together. I wonder maybe if he just got a slight tug of a hammy, something, right? Because he hasn't looked like himself, certainly even the last 2 games. And I mean, not that the team's doing a ton to help him out, and Pittsburgh's just running roughshod with their dump and chase, and the Rangers just can't get a clean breakout right now, which is a little surprising given everything we just talked about. But I mean, give Pitt credit, man. It's hard to bet against Crosby and Malkin. They just keep showing up.
I think it's pure inexperience right now, and
for sure, a lot of young guys.
I think back, and I'm pretty sure it might have been Kevin Weeks in that, honestly, but I think it was Lundqvist 05-06, the Rangers played the Devils in the first round.
Yeah, it was 06. Remember they showed the clip of the series against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, the Rangers got swept in the first round against the Devils.
Okay, well, it was maybe
06.
the next year.
They
Were
lost
you watching when they showed that clip?
No,
in
I
the
missed
TV
that.
timeout? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was done.
No, I mean,
I was done. Just so dejected. Somebody help this guy out, for God's sake.
Fuck. When Igor made that hit with Carter, it struck me, and I forget who was talking about on the air, but he didn't prevent contact. He almost put his left leg out there. And you bring up a good point, Ryan. Like, could that have led to an injury? Maybe. I go back to game one. You saw DeSmith, tear an abdominal wall or have a sports hernia.
Yeah.
And, playing that long, I mean, it down from there, a little bit downhill, not a little bit, they've gone 0 or 2-1 or 1-2. I mean, playing that long and playing that much, you put yourself at risk. I certainly don't envy anybody that's had to play 2 full games in a night. And Pittsburgh seemed to have been able to roll with Domingue. It's really tough to see. We're talking about a Vezina Trophy winner, and I think we can all confidently agree that Shesterkin was the best goalie in the regular season.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah, yeah.
But I thought Freddie Anderson got snubbed
as a finalist. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I like Freddie a lot, and I like the story kind of bouncing back a little bit from, what ended up being a not great. Like, it was amicable, sure, but not a great way to exit Toronto after 5 seasons there. So I kind of agree, but I mean, the other guys are definitely deserving too. But I mean, it really doesn't matter because Igor is so far and away the Vezina winner, right?
He was a Hart Trophy candidate for a while.
Absolutely.
The way he was playing.
And he well should have been. I think the other thing too, and Johnny brought it up, is just some inexperience here with this group. There's lots of veteran guys, but inexperience just with the way the group's constructed. Gallant's first year as head coach. A lot of young guys in the lineup, yeah, including the goalie, who is still very young. And I think that they really, the one thing with them is they have not done enough to get in front of Domingue and take his eyes away and make it difficult for him. Like, all the credit in the world to Domingue, but we are talking about a third string goalie here. And I am a little surprised that the Rangers haven't done more to just get in his face and throw everything at him.
To your point, they have those veteran guys, but even those veteran guys haven't played in the playoffs in at least 3 years. Like
a lot of them.
Trouba, Panarin, all those guys that came over, they haven't played a playoff game in over 3 years or 4 years. So
I'll say this. I mean, if you're an analytics person, which I'm not, Shayna on Twitter, she just posted this. It's very easy to put this all on the goaltender, but look at the difference in scoring chance generation between the Rangers and Penguins at 5-on-5. The Rangers aren't getting to the middle, which is true because I've been keeping track on my phone too. The Rangers aren't getting the middle. Pittsburgh has 15 high danger attempts to the Rangers 0, and there's just a giant island of red in front of the Rangers. The Rangers net, where they're getting their scoring chances from. It's just it's a fact, man. You gotta get. Is that
a symptom of the problems, Duane, or is that the product of the problems?
I think it's a product
for sure. Like you said, get in his grill, man. He's a third string goaltender. I mean, maybe sometimes a serviceable backup, but the worst thing you can do with a goalie like that is let them get comfortable, right?
Well, what did you see New York do right off the faceoff when he came in, Duane? He made 2 nice, easy chest saves, right?
Just get, even if you, I hate to say this, but even if you gotta flirt with taking a goalie interference penalty,
that's a minor.
You know what I mean? Make him feel uncomfortable. Let him know that he's not going to see the puck all night. Clearly, just get in his face. That's just my opinion, man. I mean, as a Sabres fan, I would say if I'm the coaches on the other team, listen, man, you have fucking Dustin Tokarski down there. You have fucking Aaron Dell down there. Throw everything you can at him. Just throw pucks at the net, get bodies in front. Don't let these guys feel comfortable and let them have a good game. They're trash.
Yeah, but how much of that is New York? I've always looked at New York as being a north-south team, and Pittsburgh.
Well, they are, but
to clog it up. I mean, that's what New York's game is: being able to counterattack, being able to suffocate teams with their ability to counterattack, having teams have to play that third forward high, And when you look at they're setting a goal to bring it within 4-2, it's a turnover, and they go north. Adam Fox leads the rush. They're able to get a goal off of that. Now, I'm not saying that's the only way they can score, but for me, it's Pittsburgh's been dictating the terms of the play, and they're playing their game. How much of that has to do with Pittsburgh having the last change in the matchups they want these last 2 games? Obviously, that has to do with it. But when you go back, how much different would the series have been if they squeak out, New York's able to get that first win and maybe build that momentum into getting 2-0 at home going into Pittsburgh? I just think it's a big ask to go into Pittsburgh, having the ability to match up, however they want to do it, whether it's Crosby, Malkin, Carter down the middle, or the plug-and-play pieces they have at center. To me, it's just Pittsburgh has forced New York to adapt to their style of game. I'll shut up and listen, as Duane likes to say on his phone calls.
Oh, hang up and listen. But
hang up and listen.
But just going to that, like Adam Fox, the second goal for the Rangers, man, he literally just threw the puck on Domingue and it made its way to the back of the net. Sometimes that's what you got to do with these guys. Like, throw the puck at a bad angle, have 2 bodies in front, and just hope for the best. Like, that's a playoff goal, man. That's a playoff goal. Look at Patty Kane's game-winning goal, Stanley Cup winning goal. It was from fucking 3 feet in front of the goal line.
That was an embarrassing goal, though. That should have never been.
Still,
well, yeah,
but it's still like that's a playoff goal. It's just what happens. Look at the golden goal, Crosby on Miller. Fucking
that's a different play. That's a skill play from Crosby to call for a ginless pass, and as he read Miller's poke check, he put it 5-hole. That different goals. I get where you're coming from, Duane. I agree. I guess I want to tee up Johnny. When you've seen New York be successful this year, was it playing the other team's game, or was it dictating the pace of the game and playing the north-south hockey and being able to get up the ice, whether it's turnovers or bad changes or whatever it may be? How has New York found success this year? I'm going to be honest, I didn't see a ton of their regular season games. Johnny, you have. You tell me.
I mean, they had the second or third best power play all year. That generated a lot of the offense.
They were so good.
So good in the power play, and their power play has not really been all that good in the last 2 games. They were 0 for 4, I think, in game 3. And tonight, I don't think they scored one tonight. And I don't know what's going on defensively, but I think they've had more defensive breakdowns in these 4 games than they did all regular season. I don't know what's going on, but they look horrible in their own D zone, and they did not in the regular season. I think they had, definitely a top 10 in like chances against, and now they're probably leading the playoffs in like most chances given up. So, my brain is just.
I feel so bad for this poor guy. Like,
I'm a Ranger fan. I bet the Rangers to win the series, and I bet the Rangers tonight. So you add that on top of it.
Yeah, that's never a fun seat to be in for sure. I agree with you, and I think maybe because of the way this group's constructed and how young and green some of them are, and how green overall the group is as a playoff team. Because let's be honest here, like, they're well set up for the future. Like, the Rangers as constructed now, even without adding to this group in the offseason, which I think they will, even if they didn't do that, they're well set up to be a playoff team for a long, long time. When you have a goaltender in net like that, first of all, that's the biggest thing. That solves a lot of problems for you right there, and can mask a lot of issues in the regular season, especially in the dog days when guys maybe don't feel like getting up for a game at the 5,000 seat Arizona Dome or whatever the hell they're calling that stupid stadium where they're going to drive guys to the rink in golf carts. Fucking embarrassing for this league. But he covers up a lot of problems, and so that's the biggest thing for you right there. You've got Igor, and then the bread man is an all-time mercurial playmaker that can just do a lot of damage by himself. And on this team, he doesn't need to.
That was on display this year too, man. When over 70 apples for Panarin.
He was disgusting this year.
Oh my God.
And it's no surprise. I mean, he put up points in Columbus, guys. Columbus, no disrespect. And my cousin was the assistant coach there, so I'm not shitting on them. But I mean, he put up points in Columbus, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this guy is a really good player. And then Kreider is just a great leader who had an unbelievable year. And then I really like the young guys they have. And Zibanejad's one of the best two-way centers in the game. He legitimately is. Like he's a guy that I would want starting in the defensive zone. I'd want him starting in the offensive zone. But I think maybe their over-reliance, if you can call it that, at least it looks to be in this series right now, their over-reliance on having power play success is a thing that's not really going to do well for you against a team like Pittsburgh. Because again, give them their credit. This looks a lot like those Pittsburgh teams that went back-to-back. Not flashy on the D-core. It's just so meat and potatoes, but their D-core can all skate. And when the Rangers, who are a north-south team that really rely on getting in there and smashing bodies on the forecheck, when you can't get there first and Pittsburgh can just flip it out and have guys like Crosby and Rust and Carter and Malkin and Rodriguez go and fetch the puck in the neutral zone and create good turnovers with sticks going the other way, it's a bad matchup in a sense for the Rangers, and I can understand why they're having trouble with it, because Pittsburgh, say what you will about them and what appears to be holes in their roster, when you have Sid, Letang, and Malkin out there, hard to bet against.
So Rangers are the only team that are above 25% on the power play and below 70 on the penalty kill. I don't know what their numbers look like in the regular season.
That's
but
tough.
You'd like to think that they're above 66, right? Now, you guys have both mentioned the ability to be a special teams, team. But I and I'd have to go back and look through what are the debacles on the PK. But 66%, you're not going to win a series and on the PK. Bob Bugner was the best coach I've ever had in saying this. Is that we took pride in being an 80%, 85 goal percent play PK team. And if you can kill penalties, even if you're not dynamite on the power play, you're going to give yourself a chance to win most hockey games. The only teams they're up against is Florida Kings and Nashville, and they're all within that, 66 to 56 range. Everybody else that's winning their series is up in the 70s, 80s. Pittsburgh, ironically, 33% PK or PP percentage, 75 PK. It don't mean to break it down into strictly a special teams game, but for a team in New York it's been very good on the power play and special teams in the PK in general, it's tough to point the finger. I wonder, going after this, is the third period started, Johnny?
I don't even know. I'm getting always Twitter notifications from Two Goalies, One Mike.
Dude, I tweeted out Rangers allow 5 in the second, and John Lazzie's about to have a stroke live on air with Two Goalies, One Mike. Hop in and join the convo. And
can we send this guy like a fucking Dairy Queen cake or something? Like anything. Like, let's Uber Eats this guy something.
With the Michael Jordan crying, on Igor's body. I'll totally do that if they lose the series. I'll send you a Dairy Queen ice cream cake with the Michael Jordan crying meme on Igor's body.
No.
That's awful.
Now he's definitely
not coming back.
He's definitely not coming back on the show.
You know what? As a Sabres fan, I take so much shit. So once in a while, I enjoy dishing it out.
Well, if we use us, the Sabres, as a fucking benchmark, you can't get any worse than we have been. No, so, Johnny, just count your blessings that you're not a Buffalo Sabres fan.
I'd rather be one right now.
No, come on now.
We don't even have hope. We have Igor's going to win the Vezina tomorrow. And then what? All for what? Then he's going to get made fun of by the entire fucking Twitter app.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I'm not, honestly, God, I'm not making fun of Igor Shesterkin, dude.
There's plenty of fans that would rather be in your shoes.
Every single team in the NHL would ask their starting goalie to have Igor in net for them without a shot of a doubt.
I think I'd rather have no hope than false hope.
Yeah. I mean,
no, he brings up
now you sound like a Caps fan pre-2018. That's what you sound like right now.
Yeah, I hope that happens. I'll gladly get some second round exits to one day get the cup. I mean, I haven't.
Yeah,
but look at all those Caps. Those Caps. You always had to go through Sid and Malkin in their primes to get there, and as heartbreaking as it was, when you finally get there, that just made it all that sweeter, right? Right, Drew?
The Kuznetsov OT winner in Game 6 against Pittsburgh is the greatest Caps goal of all time.
Was that the breakaway?
Yeah, where Ovi stripped Sid at the blue line, which was even more poetic.
Shove it up your ass, Sydney.
That goal was great. My girlfriend and I had only been recently started dating. She's a huge Caps fan, and that was one of the first big playoff games we watched together, and we almost went through the ceiling of her living room. I thought her parents were gonna have a stroke coming down to see what the hell we were screaming about. I'll never ever forget that moment. And then just as soon as Kuznetsov scored that, I looked at her and was like, we're winning the cup. Like they're going all the way. They're going all the way. And they did. And it was great. And it really did make up for all that horse shit. So, I mean, if there's any consolation from me to you, Johnny, because again, I think the Rangers are going to be poised to be a consistent playoff team for a really long time.
They're only going to get
all
better.
You got to do is, they're only going to get better. Those young guys are going to get better. Lafreniere is going to be a 30-goal scorer. They're only going to get better, and they've got the biggest piece that you need, which is the guy in net. All you need is a ticket to the dance, and the Caps had one for a decade, and the Rangers are going to have one for the next decade. Just get in, and eventually, let's be honest here, guys. It takes a lot of luck to win the cup.
Yeah, it is so lucky.
It is. You got to be good to be lucky. Absolutely lucky to be good for sure. But think about that Caps run. Down 2-0 to the Jackets. Panarin, of all guys, hits the crossbar in double overtime of Game 3. Holtby's out of position, doesn't see the feed back to the bottom of the circle, and Panarin rings the bar. 2 shifts later, the puck goes off Lars Eller's right ass cheek and into the net. Just the stupidest bounce. And there were a couple like that against Pittsburgh too, where, I mean, that winner I just talked about with Kuznetsov, Crosby of all players makes turnover. A soft play at the blue line, which he almost never does. And Ovechkin, who is not a defensive stalwart, is back checking, catches him, strips the puck, sends Kuznetsov the other way. Think about the biggest one. I mean, the save in the Stanley Cup final, Holtby robbing Tuck of all people.
That was wild.
Sorry, Alex. The save. That was insane. The craziest one, though, was Tampa in Game 7. Kucherov gets a breakaway, thinks he scored, doesn't hear the whistle going. Tampa got flagged for too many men on the ice. It would have been 1-1 going into the second period. And with 6 seconds left in the period, they actually tell him, oh, by the way, Nikita, no, you didn't score there. There was too many men on the ice. And then Ovechkin scores right off the faceoff with 1 second left in the period in Game 7 and scores. And that was the dagger. Lucky bounces. Because Killorn jumped off the bench 2 seconds too early in the conference final, Game 7. There's luck involved here. And I'm just trying to be a guy here and pick our friend Johnny up here, because the Rangers are going to have a lot of opportunities to kick at the can for a long time here. So if it's any consolation, and by God, if the friggin' Washington Capitals can do it, I mean, for the love of Christ, the Rangers can do it.
They're
quick note. Rangers going with Georgiev.
As they should. I have this Ranger fan tweet at me I'd rather have Sorokin in net. Show some fucking loyalty, man.
Oh, that's
where's Sorokin? Where is
really
that
good
guy?
Goalie? Really good goalie.
Not in the playoffs. That's though.
Where does he play now?
Well, he's with the Islanders still.
Yeah.
And he's going to
be a Ranger.
Guys, take your fan hat off and look at the facts. Bro, show some fucking loyalty.
Wait,
look at the facts.
Fan tweeted you that.
Yeah. What facts?
I guess, hey, not to perpetuate a stereotype, and I want to bring this up, Johnny. I've just met too many Rangers fans that are fucking, I don't want to say uneducated, but fuck, man, that's just salt in the wound when it doesn't need to be. I'll take fucking Igor Shesterkin over Sorokin any day of the week. I think Sorokin's the product of a very tight defensive system with Barry Trotz, and you saw what he did for Washington, Ryan. he is able to get everybody to buy into a defensive system that really doesn't give up a whole lot. They force everything from the outside and they backtrack to the house very well. But fucking what a dumbass tweet that was. Whoever sent that, tell him to come over to Cully's house and sit on a pine cone.
Yeah, his name is not even like his Twitter. It's like
that's brutal. Like
that's terrible.
I understand you get on top of guys when your team doesn't do well, but I mean, Igor was the heart of that team all year. Like, let's relax here. And hey, to be fair, I think Sorokin has a chance to be a Vezina winner someday too. I don't think
he's a great goalie. I don't think
his ability is solely tied to what Trotz is able to do. And I mean, look at Varlamov, because Varlamov was a Vezina winner before he came to the island and had success. I mean, Trotz plays a really great system. I still can't believe they fired that guy. But look too at the impact that a guy like Mitch Korn has on every goalie he ever coaches, including Dominic
Hasek. Friend of the program, Mitch Korn, children of the corn, they call it.
Mitchie Korn he's the greatest goaltending coach of all time. It's incredible the impact that he has. I think Sorokin has an opportunity to one day be a Vezina winner too, but Shesterkin, because remember, like the Russian goalie school of the last few years, I read a great article about it a little while ago. Samsonov first, then Shesterkin and Sorokin. They were their next big three guys. And boy, oh boy, like all three of them are really high end, high talent. We'll see what happens with Samsonov in the long term, as he's played again really well tonight. But man, talk about three guys that have just been really, really solid based on their potential. Shesterkin has put space between himself and the other two, like significant space. Those other two guys got some catching up to do. I mean, to say, Sorokin would be better. I mean, let's relax.
Bro, this guy now just responds and goes, I said, show some loyalty. He goes, to what? A fucking loser? I had loyalty to Hank. He was a winner. Shesterkin.
Henrik Lundqvist never won anything.
Yeah.
I literally said, I was like, I've never blocked anyone on Twitter before, but I'm so close to just blocking.
Block that man.
I love Henrik Lundqvist. Henrik Lundqvist is a really good goalie. He never won anything.
Outside, well, he won a gold medal, but that's not the NHL.
But I mean, and that Stanley Cup final loss wasn't his fault, and it's not his fault that he never won anything. That guy never won. Like, what are we talking about here? I mean, if every time a guy has a tough playoff performance, you're going to trade him. I mean, the Caps wouldn't have a single guy on their roster that they've got here. Like, Carlson would be gone. Ovechkin would have been gone 5 times over. Let's trade Backstrom. Let's trade Kuznetsov because he sucked that one time. It's a goofy thing to say. I remember that actually, like, and you know what it is, man? It's because he's Russian. That's what it is, dude. And I remember, you guys know too, just year after year, him being like the only guy consistently putting points up. Ovechkin should go back home. Damian Cox, who's one of the worst hockey contributors of all time. He wrote a book a few years ago. My mom bought it for me because she thought, Ovechkin's on the cover. Ryan will want to read it. It was called The Ovechkin Project. And the whole book was just slandering the guy about how they'll never win with him and he's not invested in being a team player and Crosby's so much better. I was furious by the time I got to the last page. A little
bit of Canadian North American bias, Damien?
Yeah, just a touch. Because Russian guys can't be good leaders.
No, the Russian machine often breaks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't look back at a guy like Sergei Fedorov or Larionov or any of those great guys.
Russian 5, never heard of it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't exist. It's ridiculous. McGillney. Year after year, the Caps should trade Ovechkin. First round exit against the Rangers, second round Penguins, second round Rangers, doesn't matter. They should trade Ovechkin. Ovechkin should go back home and save the Caps salary cap money. Ovechkin's not a leader. They should strip the C. Just any excuse in the world until all of a sudden he wins. And now all anybody can say is, what a great leader and blah, blah, blah. To go at Shesterkin so young in his career,
that's bizarre.
After the season he just had, where you're set up long-term in net, I think is goofy. I mean, that's just me personally.
I don't know. You look at the Sabres, and me and Duane have talked about this a lot. And Laz, you're lucky in that you have the answer in that. Now, it's not. There's no sugarcoating what's happening right now. Is it over? No, but the series shifts back to the Garden, and I love hearing the Garden fans over the TV broadcast. Fuck you, ref, and all that good stuff. But you have to have hope there. There's no sugarcoating being down 3-1. I just look at where other teams are that haven't gotten that goaltending or in the perpetual who's our guy. And even Washington's in that. They have two young guys that, who's the answer? And they've kind of done it by a committee, and a lot of teams have. But I would trade anything for having a guy like Igor that maybe it's just a small sample size, but there's no denying how talented he is. And he's so going to be a piece to the answer. Before we run out of time, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the Western Conference. Anybody been able to stay up and watch the games? I've been. Yeah, obviously it's easy to be hard on or have a hard on for the Colorado Avalanche. That's been dominant. That's been really fun to see. But again, another young goalie that's been thrust into the limelight, like Ingram. He's played really well. He's kept it close at least. Especially that game 2 was phenomenal. But looking at the Western Conference as a whole, Duane, I'll start with you. Who do you like out of the West and why?
I mean, it's not hard to say the Avalanche, right? Like they're just like this year. I feel like for them, it's either cup or bust. To get there, or what was all this for? The moves they've made, the season Nazem Kadri have, which nobody saw coming.
I saw it coming. I played against Naz.
You've played against everybody.
No, I played against Naz. He scored on me multiple times.
Very good player. Good player.
But judging from what you saw in Toronto, how he's able to keep that temper under control, keep himself more composed, probably with more of a better leadership group around him. Personally, for me, with Colorado, you know what I mean? Like he's kept himself more composed and more mature, and he had an MVP level season. And to hit, I mean, no, he's not the most important.
He's had his best season. Can we say that?
Huh?
Oh,
he's had his best season.
Yeah, he has.
He's not his best season, but he was talked about for the MVP for a little bit. Yes, he was.
No.
Yes, he was. Okay, I'm sure he wasn't.
$5. Move on. What do you got, Duane?
I mean, I remember middle of the season, he was
on an absolute tear.
Because McKinnon was out, remember? And he was playing on the top
team. But
it was a brief conversation.
Yes, there was some brief conversations about Nazem being in the conversation. Never saying being the winner. He was in the conversation. But just the season he had, and just that team top to bottom when Kemper's healthy, like it's hard to bet against them.
I got to meet Darcy and Ontario Reign, and I always ask myself, what the fuck is this guy doing in the East Coast Hockey League? Really happy to see him have sustained success. Is he the answer? Maybe. It's nice to see Pavel Francouz.
Yeah, Francouz.
For him to come back after double hip surgery is incredible. I'd like to see Colorado get over the hump this year. I would love. I was really rooting for Calgary, and another young American goalie, Jake Ottinger, has really stepped up there.
Oh, good. Jake has been so good.
He's been really lights out, and that's been a fun series to watch. It hasn't been super high scoring, but a lot of fun to watch them battle. This is put up or shut up for Calgary. You see Winnipeg going through a similar thing right now, a year or two after, where they were in the same kind of boat, and it's kind of imploding on them. You've heard the rumors about Scheifele being unhappy and the finger pointing. I think it's if I was in Winnipeg in that management group or even on the team, I'd say, let's fucking let the new coaches figure it out. Let's not all fucking point the finger and run a good center out of town. Forever, Winnipeg was, they had Kopp. What is that, a New York Ranger now?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah, really good player. Just a versatile guy that can do a little bit of everything for you. Pot 20, good wheels, really, really good penalty killer. Winnipeg, I'm glad you brought them up, Cully. Winnipeg would be the number one team that I would be speed dialing Barry Trotz repeatedly.
Yes.
I would be hammering my hands through the digits on my phone to get a hold of Barry Trotz if I'm Kevin Cheveldayoff. That's just me personally.
No, I would too, man. They got a lot of talent up and down that lineup, and Kyle Connor's been a mainstay there after playing at the University of Michigan. And it's just sad to see, how quickly the Canadian market can turn on some players. Obviously, Ryan, you've grown up in that, and you've seen it with the Leafs and other teams. It's just sad to see a really solid core that underachieved in Winnipeg. And they got a great goalie in Hellebuck, too. I don't know. Shifting from that into the Minnesota-St. Louis series, I've had a ton of fun watching that series. I love Minnesota for whatever reason. I think it's just because Marcus Foligno's my boy. And I love to see him have some success there. And especially with being an American, Laz, you know this, Duane, and you too. And I'm sure, Drury's, you know it too. For being such a great hockey market and for putting up so many great players over the year, the Wild really haven't been awesome. And they've been starved for success. And I just want to see that team win. It's been really interesting to follow the goalie. I don't want to say controversy. But like, Cam Talbot didn't. Duane, you told me last night. When's the last time Cam Talbot lost a game?
He hasn't lost a game in regulation since March. Like the guy's.
I love Fleury, but like that's fucking crazy. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
but they're tied to the two now, are they not?
Fleury hasn't played bad. I mean, I don't know if throwing Cam Talbot in changes that dynamic or the outcomes of any of those games that they've lost. Like, but at the end of the day, like you brought Fleury in, halfway into the year, and it's been Cam Talbot's not since the beginning, and the guy did nothing that was within his control to lose the net come playoff time. But I guess you want to go with the experience and the guy who has 3 rings to take your team into the playoffs. And I mean, it's not, again, a good problem to have with both Cam Talbot and Marc-Andre Fleury. But for me, I would have wanted Cam just because he's been there since the get.
Well, good problem to have, like you mentioned. A question for Laz: who's the youngest Ranger to score a playoff goal?
It's got to be Lafreniere, right?
No, yes, but they just showed an infographic. It's probably going to pop up on your screen. Stephen Rice, is that the right name?
I don't even know that. I
no, me neither.
Stephen Rice. Hey, wow, I was gonna just wildly take a stab, and I guess now that I think about it, it probably doesn't make sense because he came over after some time in the Super League. I was just gonna guess Kovalev, but yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Real quick before we turn, how about what was behind the bench during the Dallas bench during the Flames Stars?
Oh, you mean
that poor lady, man? She is everywhere. She's all over the internet.
There ain't no
now,
poor lady about it, man. She loves every second of it.
Couple of fun bags on that whole sound.
She's
Dumb
and Dumber reference, greatest movie of all time.
Thank you for picking that up.
Dude, it's my favorite movie ever. I could quote the whole thing. Really doing it, hair. It's that was one of the funnier things. Probably the funniest, to be childish for a sec, probably the funniest boob-related moment since that girl flashed Andre Burakovsky in Vegas when the Caps were parading around the cup. And don't tell me you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I screenshotted it. It's in my my image.
Of course you did. It's your desktop.
Yes.
That was wild. She was on Twitter. I forget her. I'm probably following her. I don't know, but
I'm probably following her.
But she's
that's awful, Duane.
It's not the first time she's been behind their bench. She's been on
right
a lot. Not the first time she's been pointed out, but man, like Biz even said, the deep V during the intermission report.
Very deep V. It's like college deep V, just get a little lower and lower. Well, hey, before we wrap this up, I'd love to get predictions from the boys. Not only tonight, we haven't touched on the other series. You got the Kings and Oilers. Obviously, the Kings tied it up last night. Blues and Wild all nodded at 2. Quick question. When's the last time that we saw in the Tuesday slot, guys, all 4 series are tied at 5 games? I feel like last year there was a lot of early exits in the first round. After tonight's results, depending on...
Yeah! Let's go! Kuznetsov upstairs on a breakaway. Ew! I'm telling you, man.
He waited Bob out the whole way, was like maybe a touch in front of the goal line, and just
I feel
Oh,
so
dude, that was
bad
beautiful.
celebrating right now, given what our friend John's been through tonight. But I had to sell. That was a disgusting goal.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Ew, 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 ew. That'll be number 1 on SportsCenter tonight. What a hit by Oshie on Sam
my
Bennett,
God,
too.
yeah.
He erased him.
Oshie's
Oh
been
my God.
undercover really, really good in this series,
Bob's
man.
jock.
TJ Oshie just stole Sam Bennett's soul on live television. That was
Sam
whoa.
Bennett's soft as fuck. He's an OHL guy, is he not?
Yeah, Kingston boy. And he was
Kingston.
really good for the Frontenacs. He really, really good player.
I mean, that's like saying fucking. I mean, a lot of guys were good for the Maple Leafs, and they've been bad forever. Sam Bennett never did it for me. That draft class, I know that it is what it is.
Sam Reinhart draft class.
You can redo it 100 times over, but Leon Draisaitl went fucking what? To Edmonton?
Third.
It is what it is. I just, for me, I've been really, fuck, man. If Washington goes up, I'm with Johnny right now. Florida's my team.
They're my team too, dude. I said in a group chat, like if it, Samsonov with a big save. I said, they were asked, should we be worried about the Panthers? And I said, honestly, no. If Bobrovsky can play well, I don't see why you should be worried about the Panthers. But
and to be fair, like he has played well, right? Washington, that was their 13th shot on goal, though. Like
that's a major penalty on Oshie for the record. I just saw the hit. That's a major, Ryan.
Why? Why is it a major penalty?
Because Bennett ran into him with his head down.
Yeah. It's a wishful major penelty for sure. They better wake up now, though. I mean, holy cow. Johnny, I do want to ask you before we let you go, assuming that the Rangers, because, hey, let's be honest, they could go on a miracle comeback here, but like, let's look forward to the offseason now. It's been a tough night. It's been a tough series for them. What's the number one thing that you would address on this roster?
Well, first of all, I just want to apologize because you guys got me at my worst here.
No,
you're good, dude.
We understand, man. The passion, man. It's a letdown.
Centric podcast, buddy. You're not showing us anything we all haven't already done ourselves.
I also just, dude, like honestly, I so badly like wanted to defend Ranger fans today against what Spit and Chicklets posted, but
they post?
Well,
like Ranger fans, 99% of the time, like they don't even like know hockey or play hockey at a high level.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, but like at the same time, my entire Twitter feed right now is full of people that are like, this series is over. Igor sucks. Like people are forgetting, like we said before, Henrik Lundqvist didn't even win a fucking game in his first playoff series. Like,
I will say this because, and this is just general. Before I let you answer the question about the roster, I did read a crazy stat that 95% of the tweets on Twitter are tweeted by less than 10% of the user base.
Probably, yeah. I actually
social media is not a great gauge on anything, especially sports fandom. Oh, these fans are morons. These fans. Yeah. No, generally a majority of every fan base is level-headed people that just love watching their team. And there's like a 5% that's on social media screaming about it.
Yeah. The loud minority.
Rangers fans are like great. We've had lots of great, the Caps and lots of great battles in the playoffs. My best friend is a Rangers fan. Like that's absolute BS.
My God.
What happened, Johnny?
Malkin just scored the grossest goal.
Oh, did he really? Oh, dear.
Break it down.
Every time you talk to me, they score.
Sorry. No, the roster though. What's like the number one thing that you're targeting in the offseason?
Well, apparently a Vezina goalie isn't good enough. So
right?
I don't know. You guys got to watch this Malkin goal.
I'm looking for it right now. Actually, you know what, guys? Hold on. I'll look for it and I'll bring it up on the screen. Hold on.
Backhand.
Johnny, break it down for us really quick. Not to rub salt in the wound, but what happened?
Kapanen does a sick toe drag around Keandre Miller and like throws like not like behind the back pass, but like, he's behind the net and throws it to the short side.
Yeah, a little shimmy.
Bar down.
Oh,
yeah, it's not good.
Well, it was fun.
I love Keandre Miller too. That's a kid that's gonna be real good for you for a while, man.
I like him a lot.
He's a big boy. He's got good boots on him, good stick, good gaps. So, tee you up, Johnny, not to say the season's over, but to reiterate Ryan's question, what are you looking for? I was going to say defensive depth, but I don't know the Rangers team like you do.
I think everyone's been kind of talking about it a little bit between Kopp and Strome, and whether it's both of them, one of them, or none of them. I think you got to find a legit second line center. You got to build out the center position. I know Ryan said he's a fan of Hedl. You guys said you're fans of Hedl, and he's fine. But he's not a second.
He's a bottom six guy.
He's not. He'll never be a top.
He's a good depth piece.
Yes, agreed.
And he's good in the draw. He's good at the draw. Like if he's your third line center for the next 10 years, hooray!
You're laughing. You're good.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, we're also talking about a team here that went to the Stanley Cup final with Derek Stepan as the first line center.
They did. They really did.
I don't know what it is. I mean, it's so clear that they're not. I mean, not that many other teams are, but you can just tell. Like these Colorado teams, the Hurricanes, they're just on a different level. Those two teams. I think those two. I was the top two favorite teams to win the cup. I mean, I just thought those two all year were on a different level. Like as good as Florida was, I think there was a lot of concern in net with Bob if he could really get it done.
Yeah.
And to me, like this Colorado team, like I don't think anyone can outskate them.
No.
Carolina, I think they just played simply the hardest out of any other team. And I think that's just where you got to get to. Do
you have the Malkin goal?
No,
I'm bringing it up right now. Hold on.
It was gross.
I do want to see it. I tuned in too late because I'm locked in on this 1-goal lead for the Caps with 6 minutes. But
let me see here.
But it's also, man, like this has been the craziest Eastern Conference ever. All 8 teams have 100 points. Like
it's insane.
Yeah, like.
And the bottom feeders have been just historically awful too. A large collection of them. Yeah. Looking down at like Montreal and Detroit. Good God. Like imagine being those fan bases right now. Like,
you know what? I'm about to, after this game ends, I'll probably post like a quick reaction video to this game, even though I pretty much was like half watching it. But, fucking Ranger fans are forgetting, hey, guess what? The next 2 out of 3 games, guess where they are? MSG. You win game 5, you get some kind of momentum.
One of the hardest parts of playing.
Yeah, you go into Pittsburgh with the Vezina winning goalie. Anything can fucking happen if you win game 5.
100%.
And then guess what? Come home for a 1-game take-all, game 7. Like, everyone is so quick to think like 3-1 is impossible. But guess what? The one sport where I think it is possible is hockey. Because all you need is one fucking momentum shift, and everything changes.
It's one bounce, man.
Ask Toronto fans how safe a 3-1 lead is.
Man, it's a bounce off some guy's ass cheek some years.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a bounce off an ass. Like, you got the Malkin goal. Let's see this.
And then he just goes to the front of the net.
Oh, that was an
Oh, wow, yeah.
Get it back from Kapanen. Once, and now watch him lift the stick there. Steals it. And now Miller's there, but he's watching.
Oh, the backhand chip bomb.
And that's
first of all, takes it away there. Watch him lift the stick.
And that's Kapanen finally doing something. He's been not very good for them this series and down the stretch. He didn't have very good regular season either. Malkin, I'll say this about Malkin. He has one of the nastiest backhands in NHL history. The nastiest backhand goal I've ever seen. That first cup they won in 2009. Carolina. Go look it up on YouTube. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Laz. The one against Carolina when they swept them in the conference final, and Malkin comes and takes a loose puck from behind the net on his forehand, goes around glove side, and doesn't even look. He just shelves it backhand glove side. It's the grossest goal I've ever seen in my life.
I can say this from a goalie's perspective. Backhands are incredibly tough to read off the stick.
Yeah.
I remember my first practice with Kingston. Doug Gilmour came out with a goddamn flat blade. And I'm like, what is this fucking old asshole doing? Sure enough, Hall of Famer Doug puts a goddamn pisser on net, 90 miles per hour. Fucking smell the burning rubber off my goddamn fucking helmet. It's wild what Malkin can do with his backhand. It's wild that the kids of today don't realize how deceptive and how dangerous a backhand shot could be. But that
hardest shot to read in hockey, man. Hardest shot to read in hockey. It's terrifying when they have some open ice in front, especially between the dots on their backhand.
Well, even like that goal with Malkin, he's drifting into that honey hole, right?
Yep. Real quick before we, and I know we said this a couple times. I know we got your opinion of it last night, Drury. Laz and Johnny, your opinions of Nylander.
He's Johnny. I'm Cully.
Cully, sorry. Cully and Johnny, both of your opinions on the Nylander hold up going into the corner at the end of that game last night.
I'll tell you what, if that was my college coach, Greg Carvel, I'd never put on that fucking uniform ever again.
Dude,
Never.
Love to hear it.
That was that was bad, man. That was so bad. And I remember I tweeted out, like, and that's the definition of this hockey team, man. Like, when push comes to shove and you really got to, you know what I mean? Like, and Gretzky said it going into the third period when all was pretty much lost for the Leafs. Like, you know, you have to win this period going into the next game. Just win the period and take some of that momentum into the next game. And, like, you start the period off well with a Nylander goal, and then you're so soft. The play was so soft. And just, like, I mean, that right there for me just spells the way that series is going to end. Like, it's over.
On that note, I think when you have $50 million sunk into Morgan Riley, Tavares, Nylander, Marner, and Tavares and Matthews, maybe that's $60 million. I just think it's tough. I think that looking back at that, like Kyle Dubas was, and you know, Ryan, Kyle Dubas was Sault Ste. Marie's GM.
Yep.
Right? They traded for Jack Campbell, which gave me my overage year. Thank you, Ryan, Kyle. But fuck, man, like that Nylander contract. If you know you're going to be paying Tavares, Marner, and Matthews up front, and that big contract for Riley, how can you justify giving him fucking $8 schmil a year?
Well, like right now he's making what 6'7", 6'7", 5". Like it's just it's a brutal looking play.
Hey guys, I hit.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Mind if I hop?
Yeah, no worries, Johnny. We put you through enough.
Thanks for the misery, fellas. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Johnny.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Yeah, no, it's a bad looking play, and I mean they got a lot to answer for. They got a lot to answer for, and it all starts tomorrow. They better come out flying.
I feel bad that we've just absolutely got Johnny at his worst. Great guy. I've been following him on Twitter for some time. Got some great tweets. Feel bad. And I can only imagine the vitriol that he's encountering on New York Rangers Twitter.
It's the worst when your team's
Twitter
losing.
Was bad until I went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's the worst when your team's losing. And again, it's like such a marginal like segment of any fan base that gets on there and does that, right? Because the majority of fans are like turning the channel, putting it behind
5%.
Yeah, like they're not on Twitter. Like the most negative people ever are generally the ones that are on Twitter shredding guys. And I mean, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, good for you. You could do so much better, you know, like it's one of those things. Like criticism's valid, but going so far as to say, oh, I like that one guy, I'd rather have Sorokin. I mean,
that's just dumb. That's moronic, man.
Let's hold on. I never once ever in my life through the worst of the Caps playoff disappointments went, oh, I'd rather have X. I'd rather have Stamkos than Ovi. Like, come on, like relax over here. Like, no, you would not.
No, dude. Ovi is the greatest goal scorer of all time. There's no.
Yes, he is.
He's the greatest goal scorer of all time. Like, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear it, man. Like the fact that he's put up the numbers he has, with the way the league is today and how much better the goaltending is, like it's really mind blowing that he can even. He would have probably possibly broken that record this year had he not had to deal with the first lockout, what would have been his rookie year. Had he not dealt with the second lockout, another shortened.
Oh my God, Johansson breakaway! Whoa, big save by Bob. Big save by Bob.
And then the COVID shortened season, just all these work stoppages in the NHL. He might have broken it this year, if not this year, absolutely next season.
Yeah, if he doesn't miss all that time through no fault of his own, you're probably sitting 780 even right now. You're probably looking at 820, 830, maybe 840. It's pretty incredible that he still might do it.
Absolutely is.
The Russian machine never breaks.
You boys want to wrap this up?
Yeah, sure. I want to go out with one thought. Big thanks to Johnny and obviously Ryan, of course. I feel Johnny's despair. We have been there in perpetual motion from no goal as Sabres fans to the fucking staph infection with Jay McKee, to the goddamn depletion of our defenseman that year, and to the debacle, which was free agency, 06, 05, with Drury and Briere.
Yeah, it was tough.
I feel tough. Johnny's pain. There's a lot of upside to that team. I come back to one thing. There's a lot of teams that have won by goaltending committee, and I feel that. But listen, Igor Shesterkin is young. He's very, very versatile in his game, that he's able to make saves that he shouldn't make. I feel bad for the goalie and for the fan base, not the fan base that's saying they wish they had Sorokin, but I think you have a very good. Think about it, guys. 2 years ago, the Rangers sent out a fucking memo to their season ticket holder saying we're in a rebuild. Less than 2.5 years later, they're in it.
Yeah, they're in the dance.
You guys up for this? The Bruins, I really do feel like they're on their last leg. Now, I'm not saying they can't win this year, because fucking Bergeron and Marchand had fucking 5 points out of 5 goals. My dad mentioned something about, I can't wait till the Bruins are done. I didn't realize it because I haven't been in it as much over the past 10 years, but the Bruins have been a mainstay. When you take them out of it, it's a whole new look at Eastern Conference, and I feel like New York takes that, but like it goes back to Ryan.
Florida
like,
just tied it.
Yes, thank God. Ryan, how much do you think that how many years do you think Washington has left to compete?
2 or 3.
And how many do you think the Bruins have to compete?
Maybe 1 or 2. That's what
I'm kind of getting at. And Duane, I want to tee you up for this before we kick it to Ryan. Who are the teams to beat in 2 years?
I'd say the Rangers. Colorado still. I mean,
Eastern Conference.
I would still say Florida. You have Spencer Knight. I think eventually that's going to be his net, without a doubt. I think he's going to be an absolute. The Eastern's going to be stacked at the goalie position for a while. And I mean, I want to say Tampa. I still want to say Tampa, man. I mean, I know those guys are getting older, but still, man, like they have the blueprint where they keep that core of players together and they find the plug and go guys. Like right now it's guys like Ross Colton who are performing in the playoffs. Last year it was Barclay Goodrow and it was Blake Coleman. They find those guys in their system and they plug and go, utilize them until they have to pay them, and then they let them go.
Thoughts on this goal right here, fellas?
I mean, that's what you get when you're the Caps and you play terrible defense all night and you only have 16 goals or 16 shots on goal. Like, that's what you get. Sam Reinhart.
Oh, righty, baby!
Of course. Why not Sam Reinhart?
So, yeah, I mean, this is what you get when you're Washington and you waste another gem of a goal or another gem of a performance by Samsonov, and they're going to get what they deserve. Dude. And he's been so good this game. You're going to get what you deserve. You're going to get a tough, soft OT loss. That's what they deserve. They didn't do enough to help,
I'm looking for the goal right now.
No, it was a good little high play. They had sustained pressure. You know what gets me when you look at a lot of these wins over the past, 10, I don't want to say 10, but let's just use 10 as a metric. 10 years, Ryan, you touched on it earlier about the Larzella Ask goal and the Holtby save on Tuck. You can go back through any cup winning teams run, and it's been awesome to see just how little those little plays are. Breaking this down. Oh, wow.
Dude, Sam Reinhart right in his office there, dude. Like, that's where he makes his money, dude, right there in front of the net, dude. He did it in Buffalo, and he's doing it in Florida. Good for him, man.
They had a number of they had a number of chances to clear it, too. I mean, that's what you get. They're going to overtime, and the Panthers are going to score a really soft one because Samsonov, after playing so well, is going to be deflated because his team didn't help him, and he's going to let a soft one in. That's what he does. And the Caps were awful in overtime in the regular season. Not that means anything. You're a bounce away. But the Caps are losing this game. Like, I'll be blown away now if they win. And they missed the empty net a couple times, too, and they didn't work hard enough at 6-on-5. Yeah, they're playing not to lose. That's Peter Laviolette hockey. That's what you get. And when the Caps, they played so well on Saturday. If they end up getting eliminated by the Panthers, they need to implode that entire coaching staff.
Do you think they call Barry?
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine that runs the Caps fan cast talk to me about that, and I was like, I just can't see it happening. With the way well, they fired him. Like the Islanders fired him.
The Islanders fired him?
Yeah.
That's what you were talking about earlier? I thought you were talking about I was confused because I thought that the Islanders poached him when you said that he got fired. I thought that you were referring to the Caps losing. I thought that was what it was.
No.
Right.
He's
been on the ice all day. Yeah. Dude, Isles axed Barry Trotz today.
Yeah, they fired him.
Wow, what a stupid fucking move that is.
I know.
He's the best coach in hockey.
I know. The Lou father swinging the axe.
Fucking Lou is losing it, man.
Don't blame your brutal core of leaders that didn't show up for the first 13 games when you were on the road.
Go back to last year. If Anders Lee doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, you never know, right?
I hate to say this. If Anders Lee doesn't get hurt, they win that series last year.
Yeah, they were right there. Like back-to-back conference finals. Took them from being literally the worst defensive team to the best defensive team. Trotz is a maestro. I don't think he's coming back to Washington. It ended pretty not great, like cup and everything, but ownership, Uncle Ted wanted to invest in a brutal coach for his basketball team and invest $10 million a year in the guy they hired to coach the Wizards. That worked out really well. Don't spend money on the guy that brought a long-awaited title. I just can't see it. It would. I don't think so.
Wild.
I would welcome it because I'm sick of Laviolette stifling our special teams and our offense, but I just can't see it. Wishful
this is
thinking,
the way I look at it. You have Barry Trotz being hired here and him being fired here and then going down.
Yeah, the Isles are
coaching the NHL.
I think so
too.
Guys,
golfing today at Glen Oak, and I found a Toronto Maple
Thanks for the invite, Duane.
Okay, you're on the ice all day, but Toronto Maple Leafs alumni golf ball.
Oh, that's pretty funny,
right? So I'm assuming this is made like at
a sign.
No, I've no. I mean, tailor made. So
it's a sign of things to come, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna post that later. I found this today while golfing. Sign of things to come. Anyways, man, let's wrap this up, buddy. Because I know Ryan is dying.
Overtime is coming.
Going to overtime here.
Yeah,
I have a Spitfire's golf ball like that, Duane.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I gave it to my brother. He shanked it in a lake.
Beautiful.
Well, beautiful. Hey, episode 99. Couple clicks for the great one.
Right. But listen, we got a big show in store for episode 100. As of right now, Andrew Peters booked to come on with us, Sabres alumni, host of After the Whistle.
Friend of the program, Andrew Peters.
Also believe Craig Rivet will be joining him. We will see.
Nice.
I'm extremely excited for that. But anyways, boys, it's always a pleasure. Any final thoughts?
Go Panthers, go!
Yeah, go Caps, and it was fun to have Johnny on. Sorry that the night went that way for him. We've all been there before. His Rangers are going to be okay in the long term, though, and always a pleasure to join you guys. I'm available whenever you need me.
Brian, you're the best, buddy.
But I'll hang up and listen. This has been episode 99 of Two Goalies, One Mic, brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. Get over to Outlet Liquor over on George Urban Boulevard. I don't know what that's all about, but hold on. They're just showing that Malkin goal again. Thank God Johnny wasn't on with that. But again, get over to George Urban Boulevard. Get your case. Place to buy a case. Don't haste. And we will talk to you for episode 100 with Andrew Peters, possibly Craig Rivet from After the Whistle. Maybe we'll bring Ryan back on. The guy's an absolute wagon. And Cully, I'll let you get to bed. And we'll talk to you later.